Yeah, the 172 comes with a GTN 650 and an Aspen E1000. So, you know, it's nice and modern. The most modern plane they have in equipment terms. I don't get how this road can be an 80k limit and then they've got these speed bumps in it. How much is the rent cost for a PA and a 172? I think the PA... Let's think. I think they're both about the same. The Robins... What was the Robin? Robin's 140 with a trainer, with an instructor, and about 120 something without. And I think the 172 in the PA adds about £20 on top of that. So I think you're probably talking about 150, 160 an hour, something like that. Might be bedtime here, boys. Oh, you got away with it. I bought you 7 minutes so far. Uncle Squirrel's on your side. Parents are cursing me. H dad rules.
Welcome to the Nut House.
Thomas, thank you for gifting a sub to Stalls18, Welcome Stalls, to the Nut House. Thank you, Thomas. Do you use the same score for night ratings for your BPL? I do, yeah. Same instructor. I mean, I've had a few instructors, but the one I use for the latter part of my training, he does night training as well, because quite a few of the instructors don't do night training. Like, they either can't be bothered with it, not comfortable with it, whatever. But this one does, so I'm going to finish off my night training with him. Planning on doing that in January. The cross training, I'm going to try and finish off my night training as soon as possible, and then wait a sec, the cross training onto 172 I'm going to do in January. It doesn't sound pretty hard to fly a plane at night, muffins. Thoughts on the SciTech flight? This thing, it's plasticky. It's not worth the 120 quid, but it's useful. Get a permit off a mod, Sven. When you did your PPL, no one could afford headsets. Blimey. Do you have to do night training to qualify? In the UK, night training is an additional thing. So you can, if you do night training, it allows you to fly. Like, if you don't do the night training in the UK, you can only fly up to 30 minutes. Hang on. You can only fly up to 30 minutes after civil twilight. Yeah, that looks better, Sven. Basically, you have to land before the sun goes down properly, and you can't take off until the sun is up properly. But if you get your night rating done, then you can then legally fly at night. Welcome back, Muffins. Motley, 3 years. 3 years, Motley. My last anniversary. At my last anniversary, 3 years. Thank you for so much entertainment and for the privilege not only to be a member of the community, but all to work with the best bunch of mods on Twitch. Thank you for 3 years support, Motley. New Acorn Hype. Do you get fined if you fly past the time? If you fly past the time, then it depends if anybody notices, really. It's like, it's a legal thing. If you fly at night and don't have a night rating, then you're not flying legally. Which means if the CAA finds out, or somebody reports you to the CAA, or whatever, you can have your license revoked. It's that simple. It's a bit like, say, you're a learner driver and you're not allowed to drive alone until you've passed your test, but then you go driving alone, right? It's like that. You can do it, you can even get away with it, but if you get caught doing it, you're screwed. You know, it's like that. Yeah, and that's another thing, is the insurance side of it would kick in. Like, if you did have a problem, or you had an accident or an incident, exactly what Chase is saying there, it would pretty much invalidate your insurance. And they would look into that, because insurance companies are always looking for ways of not paying. So they would look at it and go, let's have a look when you're flying. Are you certified to fly? Oh, you're not. Ah, well, claim invalid. I don't think so, Mr. Big Time, no. I don't think any of them would have any interest in watching Twitch. What I am finding weird about this Trejan map is I've done all this driving, but we've hardly used any fuel. Because, like, the distances we're going, like, the game is not scaling for it. Your car insurance runs out in January, you've got another year's no claims, but it's gone up by £100. Just go searching around for better deals. You've got to do that every year with insurance. Is a license expensive? What, a PPL, Hargreaves? It'll cost you between about 7,000 and 10,000 to get, and then you just have to maintain it. You have to get a medical as well. You have to keep that current. You have to keep your rating current. So the license is for life. The rating, like, you have to renew every 2 years, and the medical depends on your age, how often you renew it. VFO will be a bit quiet if he's gone up alone at night with some kind of electric navigation. Going, what do you mean? My instructor went up at night a few weeks ago, and he said, like, because night flying is only something they do in the winter, really, because it's not dark enough otherwise, because my airfield closes at 6 PM. So they can only realistically night fly at winter. And he said he went up for like an hour. He said the weather was beautiful. He said I was on my own just chilling up there. He said it's fantastic. And now I know what he means. Johnny, 5 months. Paul, hoping to get a PPL myself one day. It's always good to hear it's a very doable process. Now I just need a spare 20k. 20k? You don't need that much. Loving the DLC, by the way. How many kilometers have you driven? Well, this is the thing. I know what you're going to say next. Oh, you've only driven 200k's or whatever, so therefore you've only used that much fuel. And yes, I agree with you. But the game the gameplay is not built around that mechanic, is it? Like in real terms, I've been driving 4 hours? 4 hours. Like normally if I was driving for 4 hours in Eurotruck, I'd have refilled my tank like once or twice. It's one highway, Ajax. Not a fan then, yeah? I don't think they will, Dan. 23, I think they should. I mean, I've said this before, they've not focused on the gameplay side of this thing since launch. The gameplay is not evolving, really, beyond, you know, take double trailers, own your own trailer. But the actual economy, all of that stuff, just not changed. Rotterdam to Berlin at 1-2 would be amazing. I think just doing Germany on a scale of 1 to 2, that sounds like a massive, massive job. The heck was that noise? If you learn to fly by looking for landmarks and using paper maps, VFR, it could get a bit difficult at night if you can't see landmarks. Right, so... yeah, it's weird, like, there are still landmarks, but the landmarks are different. For example, and it does depend what part of day and night you're in. So, if it hasn't gone completely dark, then quite often you can still see water. So if you've got, like, reservoirs and lakes and things like that, if there's some light around, it will reflect it. But if it's gone completely dark, chances are you can't see anymore. But then you've got cities and towns. They light up so, like, you can see them from incredible distances. And then the roads, which are normally kind of a bit... you can only really VFR the bigger roads. When you're flying at night, the roads are just like a lit up vein across the country. They're incredible. For visual flying. So you've got the roads in the cities, but then you've got things like antenna masts, you know, like radio masts and stuff. They're all lit up with red lights up and down, so you can, like, see them from Mars as well. You can go, oh, there's a Sudbury mast over there, and I can see that that's the coastline, that's probably Ipswich. You know, you can do things like that. So you kind of just have to change what you're using to navigate with. Yeah, if you talk to ATC, you can get a vector coming in, but they're not going to vector you around the map. Like, if you're flying from one airport to another, they're not going to vector you all the way there. That's up to you. Ultimately, you get an onboard GPS if you don't want to VFR it. just look at that. Fly the magenta line. Where it sort of gets a bit iffy is if the weather starts to deteriorate a little bit. Like if it starts to get, you know, you're doing like a, I don't know, 1-2 hour flight at night, and then the weather starts to turn a bit more than you thought, that's where it could get a bit funny. Yeah, there aren't that many VORs around though. It's crazy. I mean, there's, like, east of London, you've probably got like 3 or 4 maximum. Yeah, true, Leaky. You can, I was like looking at these receivers that you can get. You can get these ADS-B receivers now that have built-in GPS, and they're about £400. 10-hour battery life. You put it in your plane, just take it with you, and it Bluetooths to your iPad. Connects to like 4Flight or Skydemon, and gives you like level 1 GPS access where it's updating like 10 times a second. which just sounds like pretty useful. Like way more accurate than what your iPad's going to do with a SIM card. Detling and Clacton's the main ones, yeah. You've also got the Lamborn VOR that you can use at a push. But if you look on a map now, like, there aren't that many VOR stations. It's a bit of a dying thing as GPS becomes more common. Yeah, and Boeing CAA is they're trialing ADS-B transmitters south of London. So if you fly around there with an ADS-B in, you'll be able to get weather reports and stuff, which is kind of cool. In fact, from like I think it's 2020, if you fly in America, the plane has to have ADS-B in and out, like all GA planes. Trying to do a video on a real life truck, Lambo. Why? Most of the departures I plan for, guys out on Stansted is all on have now. Yeah. I can believe it. Minus 15 in Moscow. I suspect that's quite mild for them. Hate to think how many Ks you've done playing ETS2. I have no clue. I've also lost, like, levels and kilometers in this game because I've, like, saved a game and then I've loaded a previous game from a week ago just because it had a particular mod I was using and then carried on with that. So I've actually lost XP. I'm not really bothered. To do a video similar to what you did at Heathrow instance so they can see what can sort out. Definitely north side, I can take you out of the airfield. I don't chase, I mean, I'd be interested in something like that, but what I've noticed is like every airfield is completely different. Like Heathrow was just bureaucracy and they were very resistant to the whole thing, you know, and it wasn't just me. Like when Tom went in there, Tom Scott went in there, they were the same with him, he had an argument with them. So I don't know what Stansted's culture is like, but I would suggest Chase, if you kind of sound them out, like point them to the video that I did and say, you know, we could do something here. Like, you know, what would they let me do? That's the problem. What is out of bounds and what is like a doable thing? Because if you're gonna make a video, like, you need to be able to record stuff to put in the video. And Heathrow, like, bring these people in and then say, oh, you can't record that, or you can't record this, or you can't record that. And you're like, well, why am I here? Why have you got me here if I can't record things? I mean, you saw the farce of it with the Airbus A380, where I had to blur the logo out. That's how crazy it got. I mean, I'd love to do stuff like that, but only if the airport's on side with it. Otherwise, it's pointless. And we're going to TwitchCon, Eagle. If you're talking about the one in Berlin, my plan is to go, but I don't think the tickets are on sale yet, are they? Which sounds to me like leaving it a bit late. Nobody inspired me to fly a Sharpie. It's just something I wanted to do. Yeah, fair enough, Chase. See what the reception's like, you know? Show them the video and say, that's the kind of thing you can do. Alan Bowen gifted a sub to IRL Access. Welcome, IRL. Thank you, Alan. I don't know, Flashfire. There's how many hours I've got listed on Steam, and then there's how many hours I played it before Steam, which I don't know. Frome is playing Euro Truck. That's Vrome, Baz, and MJ are all playing Euro Truck. I don't reckon I'd get them to waive the landing fee if you wanted to fly in. They might not let me in. I know that the landing fees, I think, because it's Class D though, isn't it? So in theory you can land a GA plane there. But a lot of these places don't want GA, so they put the landing fees quite high to sort of discourage people from landing. I don't know, like I say, Chase, just chat with them and see what they're open to do. And certainly landing there and taking off there would be an amazing part of a video, for sure. 300 quid, you see what I mean? That's what they do, like that. Oh, we don't want GA here, let's make the landing fee £300, that'll sort it out. Which is just ridiculous. Like in America, they don't even pay a landing fee. Pringle gifted a sub to Billy. Welcome back, Billy. Thank you, Pringle. You're not driving, just configuring truck options for the Convoy. Any model you'd like to see that is not normally seen. So it's up to you, Baz. I'm leaving it to everybody's individual taste. Yeah, but Bob, a lot of these places even class a go-around as a chargeable thing. Because otherwise, if they don't, what happens is planes will, like, approach the airfield, come in, and then do a go-around in order to avoid the landing fee. And if they basically do that, they've taken up all the controller's time, they've had to slot them into the pattern, bring them in, and then they don't get anything for it. So to discourage it, they say, well, if you do a go-around, it's chargeable. As in, if you book to land there, you're basically paying. whether you do this or whether you land, you're paying. Hey Sammy, what's wrong with the Scania Fest? Yeah, I saw Plain Old Ben had been in there and done it, so I know it's doable. But did he VFR in or did he IFR? I can't remember. Egregious, these lads have indeed done well. I suspect their dad's already called time out on the bed now, because I've kept him going till 9:30. SMD, what's the deal? Are the kids in bed? It always happens if you can highlight issues like airspace infringement at airports, and the CA love that. Well, yeah, Nats love that kind of stuff. Like, whatever I can do down there with Nats. I mean, I've got contacts at Nats as well. So I can basically say, I'm doing this thing with Stansted, and, you know, is there anybody from Nats that wants to be there? Because Nats like to be represented as well. So if there's any equipment or particular thing going on at Stansted that needs highlighting, or that Nats, you know, work with, you know, I can hook all that in. A deal's a deal, they're up. Oh, 9:30. 9:30 and Squirrel's got these kids. Bought them 30 minutes. Outrageous. What's the charity thing? If you send in bits, just put hashtag charity, and then Twitch gives some money to charity, basically. Oh, look, you got lucky on the roundabout as well, kids. Yeah, well, Baz, there's certain things that are always going to happen, right? Like, we all know who's going to turn up in a pink Renault. Are you going to blame me as well, SMD? Sounds like Sommy. You're looking at configuring an Iveco. Steady on though, bro. There's no need to go so bad. I bet this will be the first convoy though where most people turn up with like a trailer, a matching trailer. Like this, you know, kind of truck-trailer combo. I bet loads of people do that. And then loads of people forget there's no mods, so they're like, oh, I forgot I couldn't use that skin mod. Dang it. You seem to recall Scania was let down at Truckfest. They were indeed. And Iveco... Well, I'm not saying Iveco customer service is not good. The problem is you can't polish a turd, Sommy. That's the big issue. Lick a glove. Shots fired. Beverages. I think got time for another short journey. Where should we go? There's cut flowers. Take some grapes down the road. Your cargo has been loaded. Ooh, nighttime. That's a bit frame heavy though. There is a Tesla truck mod. I wouldn't recommend it though. It never got edited, Glyn. That's what happened to it. oh, 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 oh. It was nearly bedtime. Oh, 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 oh. It's bedtime. Sorry. I did try, but the AI roundabout is just so bad. You know, deal's a deal. Good night, SMD's kids. You can blame that van driver. Don't blame me. Indicators were on. Right of way. It's a good deal though. I mean they got 35 minutes out of that? That's not bad. 35 minutes until the AI ruined it for them. SMD, who would have thought it was that easy? 38 minutes and you're a hero. They got some good bonus time out of that one. But I don't want to go to sleep, Dad. Well, we had a deal. I used to have an incentive for my kids to go to bed. If they went to bed on time, they got the tickle challenge. They used to like the tickle challenge. So they'd go to bed because they like that. You just gotta give an incentive. The what? The tickle challenge. So tickle challenge is quite easy, right? All you gotta do, I mean SMD could try it tonight. He could try the tickle challenge on his kids. So all you gotta do is when they're in bed, they have to put their arms like that, right? You have to put their arms like that, and then Dad goes in and tickles under their armpits, so like that. And if they bring their arms down, they lose. So it's basically which one of the brothers or sisters or whatever, which one of them can last the longest on the tickle challenge. As soon as your arms come down, it stops. You only get one go. It's a fun game. My kids loved it. One of my daughters could outlast the other one by a long way. She used to like grab hold of a bed like that. She'd grab hold of a bed and she'd be like this, just laughing so much as I'm tickling. She's like just holding on for dear life, trying to not put her arms down. And in the end she just can't last. The other one, I just go nearer and she'd be like she was terrible at it. So yeah, one of them was an absolute boss at it, and the other one was absolutely rubbish. But it makes them go to bed because they used to like playing it. No, you tickle one and tickle the other, and then you basically as Dad decide which one lasted longest. Which is normally quite easy. What new map is it? Trejan. Well, my son used to do the tickle challenge as well, until he ended up with his own room. At which point that got more difficult. Do I still do it with the kids? They're still the same. Like, if I walk up to one of them and just go nearer to tickle her, she just starts, like... It's ridiculous. I don't even need to touch her. And I can make her feel like she's being tickled. It's weird. I think GPU prices came down, Tuscan, but the 2080s are still expensive. I don't think they're back to where they used to be, though. It is totally psychological. Absolutely. It cracks me up. Just run your hand near her and she's like, huh? Sommy's playing Insurgency Sandstorm. Do-do-do-do-do. Stalker. So Sven, do you think you'll release this on Christmas Eve then? Tom Sunday's playing Farm Sim. Stock. Well, it's scheduled for Christmas Eve, Eagle Fest. Is that your Christmas gift to the Eurotruck community? There's been a lot of stalking going on this evening. Hey, if they want to have me on friend Steam, you know? Steam Friends is Stalker. Hargreaves, the plan is to do the whole of Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. We need a stalk emote. Oh my god, no. I can't imagine how that would get used. Yeah, but that's the thing, Captain Flint. If they do that, if they don't want to be stalked, they can just do that, can't they? Guys, you've got 15 minutes left to apply for the convoy, if you want to join. What are we driving? Just a Merc. Yes, you need a new profile, Bigfoot. Sorry, Jace. I had to create a new profile for this. I've seen so many police cars tonight. So many. Do you remember that I committed that offence when that I hit a van or a car or something, and like 4 police cars just lit up? Wow, Rome. Baz, if you want to humiliate yourself, you go for it, mate. If you want to be seen on video in a pink Renault, you go for it, Baz. Don't let me stop you. Well, no, you didn't say pink, but you can't drive a Renault unless you paint it pink, Baz. Exactly. Don't let your dreams be dreams. There's a pink Renault with your name on it, Baz. You have what game, Mrs. Frosty? Aha, Mr. Renault. Oh, Insurgency Sandstorm. I didn't think you played shooters, Mrs. Frosty. Blimey, they don't leave you much room. That's Jeff Van Dahl. Right, Jeff? We'll just call him Jeff for short, which is Jeff Van Dahl. What is all this on the ground? Like flowers in the middle of the concrete? How does that work? Wait, who's that? In prison? Like a glove. Well, you can, Brom, because it's just a spreadsheet. And that, as they say, is that. Thank you for watching another Sunday Night Trucking. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for being here. Hope you had fun. That was the Trajan map, which is out Christmas Eve. Many thanks to Sven and the gang for throwing that over. I hope you enjoyed it. It was definitely different. You'll be able to download it on Christmas Eve. Thursday is when I'll be back. However, I may be late on Thursday. I may or may not be late on Thursday. And the reason is because I may or may not be flying just before my stream. So if the weather is good, then I'll be late streaming. Because I'll be flying, then I'll come back and stream. If the weather isn't doable, then I'll be on time, basically. That's how it's going to roll. So yeah. Thank you to the mods and the team once again for another splendid modding week. And thank you to all of you. Hope you have a great week. By the time we start on Thursday, we shall be into the Christmas schedule, which currently looks like that. So that kicks off on Thursday, basically. We've got a Thursday stream, Friday stream, then Saturday we've got the Convoy. Sunday we've got Sunday Night Trucking. And then obviously Monday is when I do some team games, and Tuesday as well, which takes us into Christmas. And I've got a couple of days off, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, taking us into the new year. Right at the end there, just into New Year, is GTA. The classic GTA, you know, Santa suits and rockets and stuff. If you want to apply for the Convoy next Saturday and you're a sub, you have 9 minutes before that form will close. So if you want to apply, you better get on with it. So that only remains for me to say, have a great week, whatever you're doing. It's almost Christmas. If you're like me, you haven't bought your stuff yet, you better get on with it. Other than that, I shall see you soon. Got any questions? Ask them on. Take it easy, guys. Love you all. Good night.